Estimating the price of electrical work, especially for friends, can be tricky. For a basement project involving 15 hi-hats, 10 outlets, 3 phone jacks, 3 cable hookups, 1 ground fault circuit interrupter in the bathroom, and 1 ground fault circuit interrupter in the laundry room, an estimate of $800 is within a reasonable range based on industry averages, materials, and labor. Let's break down the pricing further. Firstly, consider the materials. 15 hi-hats might cost between $150 to $200. 10 outlets could range from $50 to $100. 3 phone jacks might be $30 to $50. 3 cable hookups, $30 to $50. And 2 ground fault circuit interrupters, $20 to $40. Secondly, the labor costs must be considered. Labor for installing the 15 hi-hats could be $250 to $400. Labor for installing the 10 outlets, $150 to $250. Labor for installing the 3 phone jacks, $50 to $100. Labor for installing the 3 cable hookups, $50 to $100. And labor for installing the 2 ground fault circuit interrupters, $50 to $100. When totaling these estimated material and labor costs, the total estimated cost can range from $800 to $1,190. These are just estimates, and the actual price can vary depending on several factors. These factors could include the specific materials used, the complexity of the installation, and even location. Other electricians might provide estimates in a similar range. A low-range estimate might be $700 to $850. A high-range estimate might be $900 to $1,100. While $800 is a reasonable estimate, it's understandable that a friend might find it a bit high. To make the estimate more appealing, you might consider offering a small discount as a gesture of friendship. Alternatively, you could adjust the estimate based on the actual material and labor costs as they become clearer. Pricing is important in any electrical job. However, maintaining good relationships with clients, especially friends, is equally crucial. If you believe your quoted price is fair, confidently explain the breakdown of the costs to your friend. Also, discuss possible adjustments that could make the estimate more acceptable. Consider the following points when discussing the project. Firstly, be transparent about material costs. Show the friend the invoices or online prices for the hi-hats, outlets, phone jacks, cable hookups, and ground fault circuit interrupters. Secondly, explain the labor involved. Emphasize the time and effort required to install each component safely and correctly. Highlight the expertise and skill you bring as a qualified electrician. Thirdly, discuss potential challenges. Are there any potential wiring issues in the basement that could increase the labor time? Address these concerns upfront to avoid surprises later. Fourthly, consider offering options. Can you use less expensive hi-hats or outlets to lower the material costs? Offer these alternatives to your friend to show you're willing to work within their budget. Fifthly, negotiate fairly. Be willing to negotiate the price, but don't undervalue your work. Find a compromise that is fair to both you and your friend. Sixthly, get it in writing. Once you and your friend agree on a price, put it in writing with the detailed scope of work. This helps to avoid misunderstandings down the road. Seventhly, prioritize safety. Emphasize the importance of safety in all electrical work. Let your friend know that you will be following all electrical codes and regulations to ensure their safety. Eighthly, maintain open communication. Keep your friend informed throughout the project. Address any concerns or questions they may have promptly and professionally. Ninthly, complete the job to satisfaction. Ensure that the finished project meets your friend's expectations. Go the extra mile to make sure they are happy with the work you've done. Tenthly, build trust. By being transparent, fair, and professional, you can build trust with your friend. This will not only ensure a successful project but also strengthen your friendship. When breaking down the costs, consider each aspect meticulously. For the hi-hats, the price can vary greatly depending on the type. Recessed cam lights with a trim kit might cost around $10 to $15 each, excluding the bulb. Higher-end LED integrated hi-hats can cost $20 or more per unit. The wiring required for each hi-hat also adds to the material cost. Consider the length of wire needed, connectors, and any junction boxes required. The labor for hi-hats involves carefully cutting the holes in the ceiling, wiring the fixtures, and securing them in place. If insulation is present, this can add to the complexity and time required. The number of outlets needed will impact the material and labor costs. Standard duplex outlets are relatively inexpensive, costing a few dollars each. However, higher-end outlets with features like surge protection or tamper-resistant shutters will increase the material cost. The labor for installing outlets involves running the wiring to each location, connecting the wires to the outlet, and securing the outlet in the electrical box. If new circuits need to be run, this can add significantly to the labor time. Phone jacks and cable hookups are relatively simple and inexpensive to install. The material costs for each might be only a few dollars. However, the labor can vary depending on the difficulty of running the wires to each location. If the wires need to be fished through walls or ceilings, this can add to the labor time. Ground fault circuit interrupters are essential for safety in bathrooms and laundry rooms where water is present. Ground fault circuit interrupters are more expensive than standard outlets, costing around $10 to $20 each. The labor for installing ground fault circuit interrupters is similar to that of standard outlets. However, it is crucial to ensure that they are properly grounded and wired correctly to provide adequate protection. In addition to the specific fixtures and outlets, several other material costs should be considered. These include the cost of wiring, electrical boxes, connectors, conduit, and other miscellaneous supplies. The amount of wiring needed will depend on the size of the basement and the layout of the electrical circuits. Electrical boxes are required to house the outlets, switches, and other electrical components. Connectors are used to join wires together and to connect wires to electrical boxes. Conduit is used to protect wiring in exposed areas. These miscellaneous supplies can add up to a significant portion of the overall material costs. Labor costs will vary depending on the electrician's hourly rate, the complexity of the installation, and the amount of time required to complete the project. Electricians typically charge an hourly rate that ranges from $50 to $100 or more, depending on their experience and location. The more complex the installation, the more time it will take to complete, and the higher the labor costs will be. Some factors that can increase labor costs include running new circuits, fishing wires through walls, and working in tight spaces. Obtaining multiple quotes from different electricians is crucial to ensure you are getting a fair price. Comparing the quotes carefully and asking questions about any discrepancies is also important. Don't automatically choose the lowest quote, as this may indicate that the electrician is cutting corners or using substandard materials. Also, check the electrician's qualifications and experience. Verify that they are licensed and insured and have a good reputation. Ask for references and check them carefully. A qualified and experienced electrician will be able to provide a safe and reliable electrical installation. In addition to the cost of materials and labor, permits and inspections must be factored in. Most jurisdictions require permits for electrical work. The cost of a permit will vary depending on the size and scope of the project. Inspections are typically required to ensure that the electrical work complies with local codes and regulations. The cost of an inspection is usually included in the permit fee. Failure to obtain the necessary permits and inspections can result in fines and penalties. When discussing the estimate with a friend, consider the following approach. Firstly, be prepared to explain your pricing in detail. Have a clear breakdown of the material costs, labor costs, and any other fees involved. Secondly, be transparent and honest. Don't try to hide any costs or inflate the prices. Thirdly, be willing to negotiate. Be prepared to compromise on the price to reach an agreement that is fair to both of you. Fourthly, be professional. Treat your friend with respect and courtesy even if they are questioning your price. Fifthly, be patient. Don't rush the conversation. Allow your friend time to consider your estimates and ask questions. Sixthly, be understanding. Understand that your friend may be on a tight budget and may be looking for the best possible price. Seventhly, be flexible. Be willing to adjust your estimate if necessary to meet your friend's needs. Eighthly, be reasonable. Don't expect to make a huge profit on the project. Be content with a fair return for your time and effort. Ninthly, be helpful. Offer your friend advice and guidance on how to save money on the project. Tenthly, be a friend. Remember that your friendship is more important than the money involved. Be willing to put your friendship first. By following these tips, you can increase the likelihood of reaching a mutually acceptable agreement with your friend. This will help to ensure that the project is completed successfully and that your friendship remains intact. Remember to consider the complexity of the job when estimating the time required. If the basement has limited access or requires extensive demolition to run wires, this will increase the labor time. Consider any potential obstacles that could arise during the project. If there are existing electrical problems or hidden wiring issues, this could add to the complexity and cost of the job. Also, factor in the time required for cleanup and disposal of materials. Removing debris and cleaning up the work area can take several hours, which should be included in the estimate. Finally, remember to factor in your overhead costs when determining your pricing. The overhead costs include things like insurance, vehicle expenses, and office supplies. These costs should be factored into your hourly rate to ensure that you are covering all of your expenses and making a profit. By considering all of these factors, you can create an accurate and fair estimate for the electrical work in your friend's basement. This will help to ensure that the project is completed successfully and that you maintain a good relationship with your friend.